Hello, ladies and gents. Would you please grab a seat, grab a partner, grab a granny, or whatever. We'll get things underway. The speeches will be pretty informal, not too many of them, so if you'd like to get seated, grab a drink first, and we'll get things underway. I know there's a few more people to come, so but we'll get going. Of course, we want to keep things moving. Welcome to the Hotel Crown. Most of you know me. If you don't, Ian Wright, Station Manager, 90.1 Happy FM. And if I haven't met you face to face, I've been trying to circulate there, but if we haven't met, feel free to come up and say good day. That'll be really terrific. And we're here to celebrate 30 years of a radio station that started way back in April 1994. Now, I don't know about you, but in 1994, I would have been 40. Here I am at 70. It's freaky, this thing called life. But the radio station goes on. It's fair to say that over the 30 years, there have been some lows, some near misses, but overall the highs have obviously outweighed the lows, and we're still here as the leading community radio station serving the Fleurieu Peninsula. If I can just start by acknowledging the land and our ancestors who settled this land all those years ago, and also a message from our member for Mayo, a federal member for Mayo, Rebecca Sharkey, who was a great supporter of all media, but in particular community radio, both financially as a sponsor and with her time on air. And she's just, like so many good politicians, just a damn hard-working Polly out there doing an excellent job. And she said here on the card, "Dear Happy FM team and members and listeners, etc., congratulations on 30 years of service to our community. Thank you to all the volunteers over the years, bringing joy to so many people. Regards, Rebecca." So that's from Rebecca Sharkey, our federal member for Mayo, and a bit more about Rebecca and a little donation she's given to us in just a moment. Some people to acknowledge. I'll run through the apologies, which I'll run through very quickly, but Phil and Margie Pape. I haven't seen Phil and Margie, are they here as yet? But Phil is a life member of Happy FM, now retired. Wasn't with the station from day one, but I think it was probably day 2 or day 3 Phil got involved. So I acknowledge Phil and Margie, his hard-working wife behind the scenes, for their huge effort. As I say, Phil now retired and enjoying the good life. Also co-founder of Happy FM and life member Kevin Curran, his wife Julie. Where's Kevin and Julie? Where are they? They're here somewhere. Thank you, Kevin. From the 4 original founders, we believe Kevin is the last man standing, so a very important man for a lot of reasons. And of course, Julie, with her enormous backup to Kevin over the years. Thank you, Julie. Other people to acknowledge: City of Victor Harbor Mayor Moira Jenkins. Where's Moira? Moira's here somewhere. Hello, Moira. Thank you. Great support of the radio station. Other life members to acknowledge: Carmel Svanborg. You hear on the radio about the director of First Impressions. Stand up, Carmel. Come on. Boy, now that Michael Harris is back on board, does she spoil him each morning when he's there? You know, coffee and toast, and does the weather for him. Thank you, Carmel. And she's my great assistant as well. So I really appreciate your effort, Carmel. Daryl Houston is the Mayor of Yankalilla. He's here with his wife Leonie. Where are you, Daryl? Down the back there. Many thanks for coming across from Yank. And good to meet both of you. We have also David Basham, MP, our state member for Venice. David, welcome. Thank you. All we need now, David, is some rain. So I don't know how you bring it on, but we've just had our rainwater tank installed. We've got 4 drops in it, possibly. Phil Pake has just arrived, I hear. Where are you, Phil? Phil Pake? Good on you, Farmer Phil. Margie's with you, I can't see. Just acknowledge your huge contribution to the radio station, Phil, and the fact that you are one of our life members. From Alexandrina, I don't believe Keith Parks is here. We spoke to Keith, he was going to try and get here, but he again is a great supporter through the Alexandrina Council of 90.1 Happy FM. Now, the apologies, I'll run through them very quickly. David and Jodie Marks David, one of our sports guys, actually got a bit of concussion yesterday umpiring at the footy, but I hear he's okay. But they are an apology today for another reason. Rebecca Sharkey MP, as I said, Rebecca is an apology. Unfortunately, she's got many invites on, including today. Jerry and Sharon Lutz from GSFL. Jerry is the treasurer, they're overseas at the moment. Apologies from Mike and Wendy Hendricks. Mike, our Monday morning sports guy, and fill in. Sam and Joe Lawson from Below Zero Air Conditioning. Apologies also from Neville and Heather Miller, Mount Compass Landscaping and Garden Supplies. Neville for many years, one of our footy commentators. Barb Spence, Glant Attenborough, two long-serving presenters on air. Both apologies for today. We acknowledge their contribution over the many years to Happy FM. From Victor Carper Court, one of our sponsors, apologies from Nathan and Emily Vanzo. Royal Family Hotel, Cameron Hallett sends his apologies and best wishes, as does Damien Wortley from Victor Harbour Window Tinting. Brad and Renee Butler from Butler and Butler have another occurrence, another happening on today, so therefore they can't be here. From Beachside Bedding, great supporter of the radio station, both with YouTube and our radio coverage with the footy. We say thank you to Mary Ablett. Graham Wedding, a terrific supporter of the radio station, with football in particular, over many, many years, from Victor Tyre Power, sends his apologies. Max and Sally Bell, one of the hardest working small business guys in town, been there for a long time and still doing it from the office shop in Coral Street. Susie Williams, the owner of the Fleurieu app and more recently Coastlines magazine, apologies from Susie. Oliver Ambrose, the owner of OJ Computers, unable to be here. Best wishes to all the team and all the listeners and everybody gathered today from Michael Schubert at ShedX Fleurieu. Scott Endersby from Pro Stock Livestock, apologies from Scott. Also apologies from Stephen Lee, all sorts of entertainment. Michael Simmons from the Fleurieu Sun and the Times may make it here later on, but in the meantime, June Taylor, Head of Publicity. Where are you, Judy? Oh, here she is. June is doing her thing. The lady who loves writing and photographing and doing a great job for publicity for the station. But again, thanks, June, and Simo may be here later on. Apologies from Grant and Kate Levy, President Grant of the GSFL overseas at the present time. Late apologies from Terry Corcoran and his wife from the GSFL. They were to be here, but a family matter has come up. Paul and Rachel from Seniors Helpers Fleurieu, apologies there. From one of our presenters, Tony B, who's working elsewhere this afternoon. Tony sends his apologies, and that's pretty much it. Are there any apologies that I have missed?
Michael Harris.
Michael Harris is a late starter, so Michael Harris was going to be here, but apologies from Michael. Anybody else? Any other apologies? Don't think so, okay. At this point, I've got a few more things to say, but at this point, I'd like to introduce man of many talents. He's heard on air, he's ex-P&G, ex-Telecom, ex-Telstra, ex-everything. He's a man of many talents. Would you please welcome our Chair of Happy FM, Tony Eden.
It's a bit of a worry where I'm ex of everything, isn't it? Look, thank you for coming. 30 years is a momentous time, and I think it's about time the radio station acknowledges its importance in the community. And 30 years is a long, long time. People come and go. I think there's very few faces left from the original days. I do believe the only person that's still around is Kevin Curran. And thank you, Kevin, for your time. Kevin, you might have known, was involved with the very, very first transmission on a little caravan on a windy hill up there at Kirby Hill back in 1994. Things have changed. When you think in 1994, we didn't have personal computers, nobody had mobile phones, and it was a different time. CDs were only a new kid on the block, and not many people had too many of them around, so it was certainly time. Back in those days, in 1994, Kevin will tell you, we was the weekend wireless, I think is the common term, I think, wasn't it? Yep. We only had about 20 hours we were allowed to do a week, and that got burnt up on the weekend. So we ended up saying, if we're going to go on air, we're just going to do it on the weekends. We started out as 99.9 was our original frequency. The government decided they wanted that frequency, and I think it was for Power FM, wanted to come into the network area, so they had first dibs, so we got shifted to 90.1, which is about the year 2000. We were then had a temporary licence up until about 2005, where after much work by Guy Green and Rod Potter and his crew at the time, who were running the station back then, we managed to get a permanent licence And that doesn't mean that you've got it forever. Every 5 years, as Ian will tell you, we have to fight tooth and nail to keep that licence going. We have to prove that it's a community radio station. We are a community. We're involved with the community. We talk to the community, and they feel that we have something to give to them, and we've got to prove to the powers that be that that's the case. For that, of course, we don't pay the money that the commercial licences pay, which limits us to only 5 minutes per hour for our sponsorship, which makes it very difficult for Ian over here to try and sell enough sponsorship to fit in with our time schedule to enable us to pay our bills. By the way, for those that don't know, we're a not-for-profit organisation, but that doesn't mean that we don't go out and try and raise money. I think the current standing is somewhere around $7,000 a month every month, just to keep the doors open. So, and that's not allowing necessarily for replacement of equipment, and none of it comes cheap. The CD players currently used are about $2,000 each, and we need about 9 or 10 of those, so it doesn't take much to realise that money has to be raised. All I can do is thank everybody that's involved with the radio station. The reason I think we're so successful is the enjoyment that the people have when they go out there, and I think that's why we call ourselves, and I think Ken came up with a cool sign when he came in, Happy FM, we changed it, and I think that's what we try to promote, and that's why I think some of our presenters and also people in the radio station have stayed with us for as long as they have, because it's a club. I think Ken, if you remember Ken Burgess, one of our original members, he always thought it wasn't a radio station but a club that just happens to do a bit of radio on the side, so to speak. So that's what we hope to achieve. Look, thank you for coming along today, and I thank all the special guests for coming along and our sponsors for sponsoring us, but most importantly, you people here that are involved in the station. We don't have enough of these. I think we've had about another 5 or 6 new people come in, and I think they get a chance to see all the other people that have got us to where we are, and I think that's an important thing to do. Whether we eventually get the feeling that we can have more events, but we'll wait and see. But it's successful today. Hopefully you enjoy it. Above all, don't stay sitting. Get up and walk around and talk to people. If you haven't met them or you don't know who they are, make yourself welcome to them and talk to them for sure. Anyway, that's enough from me, I think. I could pass on to Ian. Ian's a tough act to follow. He can talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles. I'm not quite that same. Anyway, thank you for coming, everybody. Enjoy the day.
I think Tony does very well for a bloke who never wanted to go on air. It was because of Lucille, his now wife of many years, who put the implements there, and he did it, so well done. Should point out too, both Tony and Lucille are also life members of Happy FM. Tremendous effort over many years, so thank you to both of you. As my wife Diane knows, the time that you put in after hours is sometimes more than what you put in during normal hours, so we thank both Lucille and my wife Di for their patience. We've got 50 years of married life coming up next year, and she does deserve a big medal or something. But we've certainly had our highs and lows in radio over 50 years, both in the commercial sector and also community radio. But thanks, Tony. I'm about to introduce Paul Stewart. Now, Paul is one of our newer members, been with us for about 9 months? A year and 3 months. Boy, that's gone fast. Paul, look, this guy is just so enthusiastic towards community radio, and he's a local. He has a full-time job, and in between time, he has put in hundreds, and I mean hundreds and hundreds of hours with our Simian software project, which he's going to talk about briefly in just a moment. Basically, it's advancing the radio station for the benefit of both listeners and sponsors and members as to what the Simian software can do, both on air and behind the scenes. So without further ado, please welcome a guy whose heart is really with 90.1 Happy FM, Paul Stewart.
Hi everyone, how you doing today? Thanks for being here. Now, Simian, yes, it is exciting new technology that we're introducing into Happy FM. Now, today's show, for example, is playing live right now, is Kim Dallenberg, and he's here. So if you're asking, how can he be talking on air if he's here? Simian is the answer. The next show to follow is KC. Where are you, KC? Yep, standing right down there. So his show is to follow, 2 till 5. So I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration of how this works. So this is what's playing live right now on Happy FM. And as you can see, it's all listed, all the ads, everything, the voice tracking. And right now, which is playing, which is Scorpions, Wind of Change. Good pick there, Kim. So it's all queued up. So this is what you're going to see in the studios very, very soon, I'm assuming, when we release it into all 4 studios. So it'll look very similar to this. All it will have though is the adverts, the sponsors, messages, promos, all that sort of stuff, all lined up in time. You're still going to be able to play CDs, you're still going to be able to use your own laptops, you're still going to even be able to use Jangle, okay? So Jangle is still part of the new system. Okay, so it's a fantastic system though, you're going to love it because currently if you miss your ads, at 1:45, they're gone. They disappear off screen. It's not going to happen with Simeon.
Songs you remember and love.
I'll just turn that down for a second. So yeah, it's definitely exciting times and things to look forward to. I will leave it running for the rest of today's party. So if you do have any questions at all, this is not a training session today, just a demonstration. But if you do have any questions at all, you're eager to know anything at all, then please feel free to ask me. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Paul. I should emphasise that Simeon on air, and that's just one part of it, it's not there to replace live presenters. Our focus has always been, and still is very much, we are on air live, a live presenter in the studio as often as possible. Simeon's there to help if somebody's off crook, if we can pre-record a program, after hours programming, as we have been doing with The Vault on Saturday night from 11 through 7 Sunday morning. That's been a combination of Steve Adams' voice, my voice, Paul's voice, who else? So that's all been pre-recorded for about the last couple of months thereabouts. So it's not there to replace live, it's there to assist the live presenters. There's many other features with Simeon, which we'll go through with training with the presenters in the coming weeks. Before I forget also, the man here on camera looking at me right now, Steve Adams. Steve, thank you for being here today. He's always on the job. The man can never relax. Even when he comes to a station function, he's working. Steve is the man who does the fantastic job, I really mean that, with our football coverage at Happy FM. One camera, one cameraman, and the shots that he gets is just superb. His experience in both TV and radio shows. So Steve, again, thank you. And a big plug, if you've got any old photos, old Super 8 movie films, you want converted, you want to keep them before they get destroyed, he's the man to see.
Thanks for the plug.
Competitive quotes, excellent job, Steve Adams Video Service.
Checks in the mail.
Checks in the mail, and also he sponsors the passing parade with John Doremus each morning, Monday to Friday, at 8:45, with a replay at 11:45. Thanks, Steve. Okay, just a few thank yous for today, and I hope I don't miss anybody out, but Carmel will fix me. She'll sort me out if I miss somebody out. We'd like to say a big thank you for helping organise today to Sue Dixon. Where is Sue? And Sue in blue. Where are you, Sue? Right down the back there. Thank you, Sue. Done a mighty job. Carmel Schwabborg, Director First Impressions. Carmel, again, thank you again for chipping in and helping out with this one. Jan Jones, where are you, Jan? Jan, where? Like she's hiding. She's here somewhere. Jan was the lady who did all the typing of the name tags and other bits and pieces. She's been helping us behind the scenes, helps us on air when we've got a position to fill, so thank you, Jan, much appreciated. Paul Stewart, I've already mentioned, an enormous job which is ongoing, and again, Paul, we mean it, thank you. Without Paul, we wouldn't have advanced as quickly as we have with the Simeon project. A big thanks to Hayden Lowe, the manager, the site manager here at the Hotel Crown, along with Sophie Towell, who's the function manager, and the team for assisting us put on today's show at the Hotel Crown. Hope you enjoyed the day, the food, and of course the company. And a few others to mention, both deceased, the Reverend Dean Barker, who graciously donated our premises in Crozier Road to the station many, many years ago, which was a tremendous gift to not just us as the operators, but to the whole community. So it is our baby. We're currently spending a lot of money with new tiles, putting air conditioning in. A lot of money is getting invested. So our emphasis on getting support from businesses, both in the service industry, retail industry, is vital. We rely on that financial support to promote their businesses and to do things like putting a new tile roof on the building, air conditioning and so much more. So to the family of the late Reverend Dean Barker, we say thank you. Also thank you to the late Bruce Goddard. Ruth is here today. Lovely to have you here, Ruth. Bruce Goddard was, yes, going back, Ruth and Bruce, of course, but Ruth supporting Bruce. Bruce was absolutely instrumental in us getting the Bulwer Shopping Centre studio, which was the first outside broadcast studio the station had. Victor Central came 7-8 years later. But Bruce was a lovely man. I had the pleasure of knowing briefly, and now in heaven. But Bruce, we salute you and thank Ruth as well for her major support in establishing the Bulwer studio. Finally, the station founders, the late Ken Burgess. Now, those of you who knew Ken, he was a rogue. He was a happy rogue. He had some fantastic ideas. It was the all-time delegator, as Tony Eden knows, you know, poor old Tony, you know. Ken had come up with these fantastic ideas for radio station, and Tony, fix it, do it. And Tony, and not many volunteers would eventually get it done, although some of Ken's ideas were kind of crazy and didn't quite work out. But to the late Ken Burgess, he was an entrepreneur, a visionary, and we say thank you, Ken. Kevin Curran is with us today. Kevin as well. He was there from day one, calling the footy up there on the mountain, up there on the hill. And the late Merv Chappelle, country music man extraordinaire. Never knew Merv, but a lovely bloke on air, great presentation skills, and a love of country music. And also the late John Smith, station founders. We thank those people very, very much. Without them, there would be no 90.1 Happy FM. If I've missed anybody in the thank yous, I apologise. What about who?
Farmer Phil.
Yes, we've acknowledged Farmer Phil. He's alive. Farmer Phil is... Where are you, Phil? I saw you come in late. Where are you? Here he's down there. He's down there. Margie's there as well. Hello, Margie. No, we mentioned Farmer Phil before, and as a life member, a fantastic contribution to 90.1 Happy FM. That's it from me officially. Thank you for being here. The food is starting to roll out progressively. Enjoy yourself, network, meet some new friends, and keep it on 90.1 Happy FM. And of course, right through winter, local footy is 90.1 Happy FM on YouTube and the radio. Thank you.
Just I wanted to say on behalf of the City of Victor Harbor, thank you so much to Happy FM for what you do. Most people know that the really big thing for me is community, and community comes forefront to everything. And I think having a radio station like Happy FM, which represents the community, is supported by the community, and is a true part of our community, is so important. So on behalf of Council, thank you very much to everybody who is part of Happy FM, all of the sponsors. Thank you for everything that you do to keep it going. Thank you to all of the announcers. Thank you to the volunteers and all of the people in the back room that work very hard. You do a fabulous job, and we are really, really thankful for it. So thank you very much, and happy 30th birthday.